All right, so now we're going to do our season predictions for awards. So this is pretty interesting because I think every single one of these awards, save for one, is up in the air at this point right now when it comes to the association. And I do think there's actually a couple of markets where the favorite is mispriced, and so there is some value in digging around at some of these awards markets. So we'll start with Coach of the Year. So this is, I think, a pretty interesting market because I actually really like your choice to win Coach of the Year. But I believe my choice, Joe Mazzulla, head coach of the Boston Celtics, I think we're at the point now where all the Celtics have to do is finish with like a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. And the narrative behind Mazzulla and what they had to deal with in the offseason with Ime Udoka, the overturn, all that kind of stuff, and being a almost better team offensively this year on top of maintaining the same defensive integrity and production that they had a season ago, I think Mazzulla's just got to maintain pace, and he's going to win NBA Coach of the Year. But I got to say, your guy Jacques Vaughn is a really good candidate.
Yeah, I kind of hate this market and this award this year because it does feel like if it goes to either one of these two guys, okay, yes, we can. Almost every award is let's take a walk down narrative street, right, and build this up. And you just gave the argument for Mazzulla. That's absolutely the argument for him. For Jacques Vaughn, it's okay. You've had to deal with Kyrie stuff. Kevin Durant asking to be traded, and then you step in as head coach. I kind of hate it, though, JVT, because you and I both know this is a players' league. These coaches matter, but how much do they matter, especially in the regular season? Meh. I don't know. I'm not going to go crazy about either one of these guys. Like you're not the greatest coach in the NBA if you coach the Celtics or the Nets and win Coach of the Year.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. But my prediction, right? I would say Jacques Vaughn. I think what he's done with the Nets since taking over from Nash has been pretty impressive. Obviously, an incredible month they've had. So yeah, he's my choice. I think your choice makes a lot of sense, and your reasoning behind it too. Honestly, I think the guy that probably would deserve it the most, if the team keeps playing like they have been, is Will Hardy out in Utah.
Right. Yeah.
But I do expect that team to regress a little, or at least I hope so, because I've made a couple win total bets in season here on their under. But I mean, he's the guy. I think, like, if I had to pick my winner today, it's him as of today.
Yeah, I would say this with Vaughn when you talk about like coaching and impact on players, because like your general thought of like you said, if you're the head coach of these teams, you should be pretty good. Jacques Vaughn having the Nets as a top 5 defensive team since he's taken over is pretty impressive.
Yes.
It's a really impressive feat for Vaughn to be able to push the buttons to get that done. All right, now this is not settled. I do think this is a 2-horse race, and you and I have the 2 horses here. And my selection is jaded because I have a ticket on him at 12-1 to win it. Tyrese Halliburton and most improved. He's been nuts. He's been incredible. Now, last night, it's great. I tweeted out, Tyrese Halliburton's pretty damn good. And then he committed consecutive turnovers that allowed the 76ers to tie a game and force overtime. But Halliburton's been awesome. Could lead the league in assists, 20.6 points, 10.2 assists, 4 rebounds per game this year, shooting 40% from three-point range, 48% from the floor. His numbers across the board have been tremendous. He has been so much better than what he's been in his first 2 seasons in the league. I don't think there's really a wrong candidate between these two, but I think you and I both have hit the 2 guys who are going to win this award.
How many guys in the league do you think are averaging 20 points per game, 10 assists per game, and shooting over 40% from 3?
I'm going to go with 1.
You saw what I saw. Yeah.
Is that true?
It is one.
I mean, usually when questions are set up like that,
it is one guy, and his name is Tyrese Halliburton.
That's right.
He has been incredible. I can't argue against Tyrese Halliburton, but I can make a hell of an argument for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And this is one of my favorite awards to bet every year, JVT, because it follows this formula that it's like this unspoken formula that all the voters have agreed upon without ever laying it out exactly of what it is. But it's, okay, is this a guy that you would consider a star or semi-star that's been in the league for 2 to 4 years?
No, Kelly. You can't win most improved in your second year. I was told this now for several years now, right?
So 3
You're
or 4.
expected to improve from your rookie year to your second year. So it's 3 to 5 years, Kelly.
I do think voters actually think that way. You're making fun of it.
Yes, in the world.
I think they think of it. So 3 to 5 probably is the better range. You're right. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander fits right in that mold, and we're talking about a guy right now, JVT, who's scoring over 30 points per game.
Yep.
Is great of a season as Tyrese Halliburton's having, I think if you're ending it right now, and I might end up betting SGA. I'm just waiting for the season to shorten or those odds to come down a bit, and I'm in on him. I just think it's a little too early in the season to lay minus 165 or 170, what is probably the best numbers you can find out there right on him right now. But I probably will be in on a bet on SGA.
Yeah.
If he keeps this up, as great of a season as Tyrese Halliburton might have, I don't even think it's close.
So I'm waiting. Because I'm in that range, but it's also because I have this ticket on Halliburton.
What number do you have?
Yeah, 12-1.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to win just because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been so good. So I want to find a way, to get out of this a little bit. But
and you think it's a 2-horse race? So you think Markkanen's out of it?
I think Markkanen, not out. I shouldn't say out. I think it's these two are way up here, and then there's Lauri Markkanen, and then there's just whatever else you want to consider.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree because I think the way that voters will look at it is, I think there's a lot you can compare and contrast between Halliburton and SGA. I think if you're going to start stacking up stats that Markkanen has against SGA is just going to look like a much better scorer, right? It's going to be a lot of scoring stats for Markkanen, and all you're going to see is that SGA is scoring more than he is. So Markkanen, if we're really talking about who's the most improved player and who I've been maybe the most shocked by this season, it is Lauri Markkanen out in Utah.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to win this award.
All right, let's go to my favorite market. So we have a new favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year as of a couple days ago. Jaren Jackson Jr. is now the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. And I could rattle off, and actually I just talked about it in the most recent Harvard Handicappers, that Kelley was not on. It was the Monday episode. Kelley's going to be on today's episode. There's a bunch of incredible numbers for Jaren Jackson Jr. defensively, one of which is, of course, this is the best defense in the NBA since he has made his season debut. They've been incredible.
Yep.
For my money, because I think this thing's wide open, give me Jarrett Allen. Allen has been the linchpin behind the Cavaliers' defense, which has been top 3 in a lot of different metrics defensively. He is the better defender. Evan Mobley, it's funny, Evan Mobley's 14-1 to win this award, Kelley. I've got him at 40-1. He shouldn't have a shot.
Yeah.
That's more liability than anything else. If you look at the defensive numbers for Mobley, he's been nowhere near the guy he was last year. Allen is the reason why this Cavaliers defense works so well. I added him at 33-1 about a couple of weeks ago. I think Jarrett Allen is, you were talking about dark horses. This is your dark horse. I think he's still playable at 18-1. He's been nuts, and I think that he is your Defensive Player of the Year. I think there's a key weakness for Jaren Jackson Jr., but I'll let you give your spiel as to why.
It's a lot of what you said already. I think it's what the defense has looked like since he's gotten back in the lineup. And I also think there's the sentimental vote for him going back a year ago, and then him coming into the year with an injury.
You mean last year when I had him at 300-1 to win Defensive Player of the Year, and he should have won it?
Yeah, that.
If he wins it this year,
sorry for bringing it up, buddy, but sorry for bringing it up. And this was one I kept talking about all offseason. I was like, you know what? I think Jaren Jackson Jr., even preseason, is a good bet, or once you get into the season before he comes back from injury. And, of course, I didn't make it, so I'm upset about that too. But, yeah, I have him there. I would say one other dark horse to look out for, JVT, when I was kind of really diving into this more last night, Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Quietly having a very, very good defensive season. I am 20-1. You're talking about Jarrett Allen, 22-1. I think they're both live. The one concern I have about Jarrett Allen, I'll just real quick with him, and then both the Bucks, is just how much are these guys going to steal votes away from each other, right? Mm-hmm. Lopez and Giannis, and then Mobley and Jarrett Allen. I just don't know.
I tell you what, if Jarrett Allen steals or gets votes stolen from him by Evan Mobley, the people who voted for Evan Mobley should have their votes revoked because he's not playing well. We'll get to the rest of these, but can I add two with Jaren Jackson Jr.? How about this nugget? So Jaren Jackson Jr. again last night, only 25 minutes. It was a blowout. They didn't really play that well. Or excuse me, they didn't need to play that much, I should say. Only 2 times, Kelley, since Defensive Player of the Year was created, awarded, has a guy won Defensive Player of the Year averaging less than 30 minutes per game. And it hasn't happened since the 1989-1990 season. Jackson's averaging 25.8 minutes per game. How much do you think that might hold him back? Because that was one of the big reasons why he didn't win it last year.
I think it absolutely would, but I think, how much is that injury and how much is that foul trouble that he's still coming back from? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I would think his minutes will increase over the course of the season. But if it ends that way, I think you're right. That's real.
All right, we'll get to the rest of these awards and more. And Danny Burke's going to join us here pretty soon on the Numbers Game. We're going through here our NBA season predictions, kind of sifting through some of these awards and maybe finding some valuable spots to kind of harp on. And that was kind of the theme I was going through here, Kelley, with Sixth Man of the Year. So I think this market, there was a couple of markets that I think are mispriced, right? I do believe that this one is the most mispriced market in the award system. I do not think that Russell Westbrook should be the favorite to win Sixth Man of the Year. I think that is all a reflection of liability. And I think as you kind of shift around here and look, you're looking a little deeper on the board. There are multiple 25-1 shots that I think you can take that you'd have a very good shot at winning. But my guy, Bobby Portis, I think is the one. Portis has been great. I think I'll have to double-check the number here, but his 20-plus double-doubles that he's had so far this season would be the most for a Sixth Man of the Year candidate if he can win it, coming off of the bench. He's been absolutely tremendous for the Milwaukee Bucks in a season, by the way, which they've been marred with injury, right? Drew Holiday's been in and out of the lineup. Chris Middleton got off to a slow start. He's been in and out of the lineup. It's been Giannis all by himself, and Bobby Portis has been a really big part of maintaining some of their success. I think if you're talking about 25-30-1, Bobby Portis for Sixth Man of the Year is a very viable candidate, and I think he's going to win.
Yeah, that is a bet. Wait, did you say you made a bet on it?
Not yet.
Sorry.
Not yet.
Okay, I was actually considering it the other day too when I saw some of those stats come across of the combined double-doubles with him and Giannis and how much more it is than the next closest set of teammates. I don't remember who it is, the next closest set of teammates, but it's like double them because these guys are basically doing it every game. And I think you're right. I think a stat like that, that might
in a year, by the way, if I could, in a year which I don't think there's any transcendent Sixth Man of the Year candidate, right? There's nobody going nuts off the bench. There's no big scoring dynamo. There's no Jordan Clarkson or anything. You want to go back to Jamal Crawford. There's no one of those guys, and I think that would really help him out.
So, yeah, I just think that is one of those stats that might jump out to voters big time if he continues this double-double streak. Now, the guy that I went with is the guy that would the only guy, and maybe the other one would be Norman Powell, who you and I both have tickets on. Mm-hmm. Jordan Poole would be the only guy, though, I think that's going to fit the mold that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Is he the guy who's coming off the bench and is actually scoring? You know, he's averaging over 20 points per game right now. If that number goes up, I think it's going to be hard to overlook. The one thing to look out for with Jordan Poole, I guess, more is just, is he going to qualify for this award? I think it's, we've talked about that with Westbrook. We talked about that like a month ago. In theory, if he got traded, right, is he going to qualify for this award? And how this breaks down, I had to double check this last night. All the qualifications for this award is you have to play more games from off the bench than starting. So that's all it is. As long as more games off the bench than starting, you qualify for this award. With Steph coming back, you expect Poole to go back to that six-man spot. I'm with you. I think this is a wide open betting market right now because I do not think Russell Westbrook, I'm not even sure he should be the favorite. His odds definitely shouldn't be that short. I think it's a wide open betting market right now, but Jordan Poole would be my guess. Not going to get a bet out of me. If I was going to bet it right now, I would look further down the board like you did. And Bobby Portis was a guy who that I did think about the other night.
And we should point out too, because one of the other candidates that I think is legitimate, and that there are some NBA voters who have already put their their words behind giving him support for this award. Christian Wood is 40-1 over at BetMGM to win this award. He's like 20-1 everywhere else.
Yeah.
Off market. And to your point, too, he's kind of like in the realm of Jordan Poole right now, where he's starting games because they're pretty injured. I would expect, because he's played in 35, he's started 10. So you're still in that range of he's still coming off of the bench the vast majority of the season. I don't think he's going to start enough games to be disqualified for this award. But at 17.8 points and about 8 rebounds per game, shooting 40% from three, being essentially the second leading scorer. I think he is the second best scorer. I'll double check. I think he's the second leading scorer for them. He's the second leading scorer for the Dallas Mavericks. I think Christian Wood's a lot more viable at 40-1 than that number would indicate. So
it's another. I think that's a good bet. Anybody who told me they would bet that or Portis, I don't have a problem with it. I think the overall point of this is, if you're betting this market right now, look further down the board.
Yep. Don't look further down the board here. I think there's a reason why Circuit did a good job of, so their Rookie of the Year market, whenever they hang it, it's somewhat infrequent, but their whole thing is just, will Paolo Banchero win Rookie of the Year, yes or no? So if you feel like, if you feel like you want to get involved, that's the route to go. At this point, like, I've got a plus 750 price or ticket on Benedict Mathurin right? I bet it like in like November because I figured there was a pretty good value there. With Banchero at this point right now, he's just got to maintain. If he maintains this and plays, I would even say just 15 to 20 more games, we're going to see a LaMelo Ball situation. Remember the year that LaMelo Ball won Rookie of the Year, when he got injured, the next day I wrote a piece up on the website, don't overthink it, he's going to win Rookie of the Year, and he did. And so this is the same thing. I think he's done enough now that if he goes 10 to 15 more games and maintains this level of play, Paolo Banchero is going to win this thing no matter what.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit tragic when, I don't even think it's if, when Benedict Mathurin doesn't win anything this year from an award standpoint, but because he's had a great season and he has played, I think, well above expectations. But you're right. It's Banchero's, and as long as he just maintains, he's walking home with this one.
All right, now the sexiest award that everybody loves to talk about, and this year for good reason, right? Because this race is going to be freaking awesome. Give me the dude who's averaging 29.9 points, 6.7 rebounds, 5.5 assists on, just look out, maybe the third best team, second best team in the Eastern Conference, the Brooklyn Nets. Give me Kevin Durant. I think he's been incredible. I do wonder, I brought this up with you guys, I do wonder what the offseason does for his candidacy. There are some stodgy old voters out there that won't give him a vote because he was mean in the offseason, even though he deserves it with his level of play at this point right now. During their run of wins, he was out of this world, shooting nearly 60% on a vast majority of jump shots. The guy's been nuts. He's been good defensively. I'm ranting a little bit. Kevin Durant's freaking awesome. And here's the other thing. Circa, again, this was a couple of days ago, Kelly. They've taken a little position. They have Luka Doncic at plus 199 to win MVP. They had him at 1150. That's the bet I most recently made with Kevin Durant. He's my MVP.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, I was able to get on him. You and I talked about it on Hardwood Handicappers. I believe I made a bet on him at 30-1. At this point, 7-8 weeks ago, when they were a little bit down in the dumps, went on this huge run. But that's what you're looking to do when you're talking about futures betting in the NBA, right? You know a team that's going to bounce back. Most likely, look for those slides in the odds and try to get in on those. I'm with you. I mean, hey, look, obviously I'll have no problem if he wins that one. I would love my 30-1 cash. Yeah, I just put Giannis because I'll put Giannis for this award every single year. I think he's the best player in the NBA. I think he's most impactful player to his team in the NBA. He's been incredible. As far as the market right now, though, JVT, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, Drew Dinsick and I. There's only one bet to me that you can make on the board right now that I think makes sense, and it's Joel Embiid at 12-1. I think you're getting a pretty big number on a guy that should be right in the mix with the rest of these guys at the end of the year and the month that he's coming off of. Absolutely incredible.
Yep. Yeah, this is a good award. I think this is going to be fun. Like, usually it comes down to like 2 or 3 guys, and then I'm asked about the same 2 guys almost every single day. This is going to be great because you can make an argument for any one of, let's say, 5 guys at this point right now to win this award. Heck, even 6. Yeah, Doncic, Antetokounmpo, Tatum, Jokic, Durant, Embiid. All right, real quick, conference predictions. Eastern Conference, give me Philadelphia.
I'm going with the Bucks because they got the best player in the world.
Western Conference, I'm not quitting them, baby. Yeah, there we go. Sweep it. Los Angeles Clippers win the Western.
In JVT, for me, this one, it's kind of easy to put the Clippers right now because
who's the massive argument you're making it for?
Who can you make a massive argument for ahead of them? So I'll just put the Clippers there for now. If you asked me last week, I would have put the Pelicans, but it's this week. I'm going with the Clippers. And for our champions,
Clippers.
Bucks.
Come on, baby. Clippers, I'm telling you, just watch out. Watch out for this Clippers team.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.